Hello, and welcome to another segment of Issues in Our Community. Today we're going to have a great show for you today in regards to community involvement, a nonprofit, and also about conditions, health and welfare type conditions that are affecting some in our population here throughout the Central Valley.
But one thing we do is we cover important issues, and
That's right.
health is a big issue that we've covered for, many, many years. I remember being in the studio 20 years ago.
That's right.
To cover, remember what I was covering then?
AIDS.
AIDS, yeah. It was a new disease.
When it was a new
Yes,
disease,
people didn't,
yes.
I mean, nobody even called it HIV virus or anything at that time. And I sat in here with the person who had the HIV and he had AIDS. And it was quite a thing to talk to somebody and say, we have to be aware that there's kind of a perspective in the news that is tilted toward the sensational. You know, fires that occur every season during the summer, you know, fireworks that might cause fires and things like that, and auto accidents, and then nothing seems to be done about a lot of things that actually affect millions of people. And this is one that affects a lot of people that isn't talked about much.
It is.
So,
So who do we have today? in
well,
the
we've got
studio?
some people here in the studio, and we have Ashley Goodall. That's your name, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. And Gina Guerre, and your husband Pat Guerre. Yeah. So welcome to the program here.
Thanks.
Yes, and both of you have this disease, and it's called RSD, reflex sympathetic dystrophy. Dystrophy. Okay. Can't read my own writing here. And it affects the nerves. And you were diagnosed 6 years ago, is that right?
7.
7 years ago. And yourself, how long ago?
6 years ago.
6 years ago. And it affects the nerves, and you've got a very sensitivity to wind, vibrations. You didn't know what it was at first. You were telling me before the program. And tell a little bit about what it is.
It's basically a neurological disorder, and it's sending pain signals down to the affected area, telling it it's being amputated or something very dramatic, and it turns purple and blue, very cold, very sensitive to heat for her, but cold mostly and everything. It's just
Affects your memory.
very, yeah. And
What's that?
It affects your memory.
Oh, wow.
Short-term memory. It makes your body kind of tweak out. Sometimes you just kind of.
Is there
your body
medication
does-
for something like that? Or?
Well, we're both on about 10 different medications. Painkillers, drugs for nerves, drugs for depression. Depression is a major thing. 70% of people with RSD commit suicide.
70%?
It's the largest disease. It's the, how did you say that?
it's the largest causing suicide.
Right.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I myself, when I first got it, tried to commit suicide.
Oh, man.
Because you get to the point where your body is in so much pain that you can't function, or you're on so much medication that you can't function.
And nobody knows about it, so you're just like,
Yeah, and nobody understands it. And for me, it was I can't take care of my children, I can't take care of my husband, you know. I just didn't feel like I was worth living, quite honestly.
Other
Now
than,
you-
go ahead.
Now you have it in your hand, your left hand?
Yeah, I have it in my left hand, but it spreads up into the arm and goes down into my back. Sometimes our legs will just give out. I just sprained my ankle 8 weeks ago and it's still not healed. So it compromises your immune system.
You said it sends signals for amputation, that it's like your arm or leg is being amputated. What does that mean exactly?
Well, say if you had your arm cut off and you would get those phantom pains.
Yes.
It's the same thing. Our arms are here, but we still have that phantom pain because our brain is telling us, you know, the sympathetic nerve is your fight or flight nerve. So it's kind of constantly on the go, and it's very hypersensitive to things.
And that's what the sympathetic means, is sympathetic nerves. What does that mean exactly, sympathetic nerve?
There's a parasympathetic nerve and the sympathetic nerve. We have two different nerves. Is that correct?
Is it one that
And
sends a
this-
signal
The
up?
sympathetic nerve, everything comes from the spinal cord. So every sensation that you have goes to your brain and it says, I'm in pain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain, but you shouldn't be in pain.
Yes.
So it's kind of like your spinal cord is telling your brain something, but it's the wrong thing.
Oh, So as a spouse of someone with a disease, what life for you?
It's been really rough. We've moved to 3 different locations. We were originally, when she was first diagnosed, living in the mountains, where there's a lot of snow, cold, a lot of changes in pressures and stuff like that. It was unbearable. So we ended up leaving there and moving to another location, which involved job change, everything else.
Wow. What kind of work do you do?
I was in the water and wastewater industry, and since that time, because of the moves and everything, now I'm basically doing film and art work up in Cambria here, and just to stay at home, basically, because have somebody around the house.
You have children too?
We have 2 children. They're both out of the house
They're
now,
all
I see.
grown.
but they were at home when this first started. It was really, really rough on them.
My daughter was taking care of me. We had to take her out of school and put her in an adult education so she could
Yeah.
be with me.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, I'm glad you're still here, that you
Yes,
didn't
Thank
take
you.
your own life.
I'm glad I'm here too.
Because it seems like, and this is one of the messages we have for people through community television, is a lot of times people feel very isolated and alone, and for a lot of justifiable reasons. And we try to tell people through television, commercial-free television, that there are other people are suffering. Don't give up hope, because at the very least, if you get the message out there, you can help other people with their problems. So at
Right.
least they don't feel like they're alone, because it's not just your disease, it's anything that people are going through.
Yes.
And you would tell people who are depressed, hang in there, don't you think? There's some good things that can come out of talking about things and reaching out.
Absolutely.
Is that how you feel about
Yeah.
it?
It's very therapeutic. You know,
Right.
and we go to a lot of doctors too. I see a neurologist, an internist, a pain management. I go to physical therapy. I see a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So my weeks are pretty much full.
Are you able to do any kind of work in terms of
I do what I
the house
do.
or-
Light housekeeping, and I do art. I lay in. I'll be honest here. I have a daily activity of just laying around in my pajamas, and because it's just too uncomfortable to get dressed all the time, and,
Yeah.
and I'll lay on my couch and do art. So what I thought was just make it into a business and give a profit from that art
Wow.
to RSD for research.
Did you
But-
bring anything? Oh, we didn't
No,
think about
I
that.
didn't.
If we could get some
should've.
pictures, we might be able to edit it in and show what
Okay.
you're doing with that, and
Okay.
maybe show a little bit about what you do too. And are you able?
So what-
go ahead.
So what kind of research is being done or has been done?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Do you know what percentage of people have it, or how many people in the country have it?
About 2 million people.
2 million
approximately-
people.
Approximately.
Isn't that amazing? That's a minor disease with as many problems as we have with cancer and heart disease and things. That's considered a minor disease, but in a lot of countries, 2 million people would be an epidemic and a focus of attention, because that's too many people who suffer.
But my fear is, since it's been around since the Civil War, that's when it first came to be known, when the soldiers were coming back and they were supposed to be healed, but they were complaining of these burning sensations and other things. So my worry now is, we've got all these men and women over there. What's going to happen to them? Are they going to come back and we're going to
Iraq
have
and
more people
Afghanistan.
with this disease? Yeah.
That they discovered. Is it genetic, do you know? Is that part of the cause of it?
It's
or-
not genetic, no.
It's just, nobody really knows what happens, is that what it is?
They
There's
don't
not enough
know.
about it out there.
So the research hasn't
That's
been
what
done.
we're trying to do.
We're trying to, we're trying to get funds for research and awareness so we can, Ashley does concerts to help get money. They
Tell a
do-
little bit about that, what you do for that.
Well, the first one we held was in Bakersfield. We had about 24 bands, and we charged about $15 to get in, and we had merchandise, we had everything, we had food, hot rod show, and everything, and it's just to raise awareness. And then we have the durable medical needs and UCLA. I'm working with UCLA to donate money there too. So
And we have a phone number up there. Christina was putting up there. Give the phone number and the website. I think that was a website address. Give that for people. It's a 661 number.
the 661.
Yeah.
It's 399-0502. And the website's www.tkorsds.org.
Okay, and RSDS, or RSD is the disease. And what's going on? Are you from Bakersfield? Is that right? Okay, and you came here to help out, raise awareness in this area for people
Right.
to have this here.
We're working on getting a concert going on here.
Oh, that's right. That's good. Well, we'll promote that when you get further along on that too. So, and where do you live?
I live in Cambria
Oh, that's what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, yeah. And you moved there when?
about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's a pretty good area for my condition. It kind
Yeah.
of stays at a certain temperature for most of the year,
Yes.
but the fog does get to me. And
Yeah. And you met Patrick Germany, who's the producer for this show at the doctor's office. He was in there with his son.
Yeah.
Tell a little bit about what you saw of him and his son.
Oh, I was sitting there and they were sitting across from me and they were sitting next to each other and they both had their little newspapers out and I thought that was just the cutest thing. So I went over and I asked him, can I take a picture of you guys? And he said, yeah, and then we kind of started talking and that's how we got to know each other. And then he had an event not too long ago, so I went to that. And
Yeah, it was the Memorial Day
yeah.
event at the Vets Hall in
At the
Morro
Vets
Bay.
Hall.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, for the troops and yeah. Did you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. Are you cold? She's sensitive to cold too.
But not the
She-
same way.
She can't talk if she gets too cold. The studio's cold today, isn't it?
It
Even though it's
is-
warm
it is
outside.
chilly in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've been off the air for a long time, so now
Yeah, so
you're not
now I
used
have
to
to
asking
get-
questions.
That's right, I gotta get back and practice.
There you go, yeah. So what is it you have coming up in this area that you'd like people to participate in or awareness? And there must be other people in this area too that you've met?
I haven't met anybody else in this area.
Okay.
I do a lot of talking to people online. That's how we met.
Oh, okay.
We have MySpace pages, and so basically most of our pages are filled with other RSD people, and that's how I've met other people, but I have not met anybody in person out here. Which is, if there's anybody out there that lives in this area, please give me a call or, go to my email and
Christina, put your name up there and give your phone number and your website there.
it's 805-927-1550, and it's www.preciouspedalpushers.com.
Okay.
We're also working on doing a red carpet event down in Hollywood, and that's probably, I'm going to say maybe 8 to 12 months away.
And that would be with, who would that be with?
All
then?
for RSD with actors. We're going to have an art auction. Just normal
Yeah.
people to come. It's not going to
Good.
cost too much, like $75.
Yeah.
We'll have music and it should
there-
be fun and raise some money.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
What are some symptoms that somebody might not realize that they have this disease, or maybe they should get checked, or
The main thing is when you have an injury that is supposed to be healed in a certain time, but it seems to be healed, but now you have different sensations like the burning with the wind or sweating, color
The bruising
change.
colors.
Yeah, a lot of color changes in the hands, atrophy.
Definitely, if the wind's hurting it, there's something wrong with it.
Just
Yeah.
blowing on your face or hands or something exposed that burns, has a burning feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any actors that have this or famous people? You mentioned
I know
Hollywood.
Paula Abdul.
Paula Abdul has it.
Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know how long she's had it?
I'm not sure. I think maybe 5 to 7 years, something
Wow.
like that.
That's amazing. Well, what happens with this? Does it just
Well, hers,
gradually-
I believe, went into remission.
Oh, I see.
So if you catch it quick enough, you can do blocks and all these other things, nerve blocks and things like that. And sometimes if you catch it quick enough, you can put it into remission. Ashley's been in remission, but she just had a flare-up, I think a week or so ago. So it's starting to come back with her, I believe.
How long was it in remission?
A year.
Wow.
And that's a really long time for
Yeah.
That's
RSD.
really good, yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else, Pat, would you want people to know about this?
Well, one of the things is a lot of the doctors don't know a lot about it. So it's misdiagnosed, so the numbers they give you, and depending on where you look, it can be anywhere from, so I've seen 500,000 to millions of people diagnosed. Not really sure. But we don't know how many other people are misdiagnosed, because so many people are misdiagnosed. And it is something to be really aware of, because it can happen to anybody, and from the simplest injury.
Yeah.
Like stepping on a pebble in a parking lot.
You can get it from a sprain, from a bruise, from a splinter, from an accident.
So
you just never know. How did you feel when you were diagnosed?
Well, I was getting ready to get my arm amputated. Actually, they were like, they told me I had an infection in my arm, so they were going to amputate it.
Really?
And the doctor came running in with a pamphlet saying, "No, stop, stop. This is what it could be." So that's how close I was to
Was
not
there an
having harm.
infection in there?
No, it was RSD.
How could they diagnose an infection without finding viruses or something?
Exactly. It's always in the blood work when you have an infection or something,
Right.
but
Yeah.
doctors
RSD
are just
is-
clueless.
Doctors are very clueless. I tell my doctors about it and give them information
Good.
so that they can learn about it.
Yeah.
The hospitals, the ERs, I want to get pamphlets out to them so that they're more aware of it and
Yeah.
how to treat people with it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, it's like we said, there's so many things that affect people, and a lot of people don't ever feel like they're part of the community without, somebody saying something about it. So we try to bring out the things
That's right.
that make you feel like, you're part of the community, and you're welcome to come on here anytime too, onto Patrick's program and the other programs that we help out with to talk about this. And so if something comes up, let us know about it, because I know how difficult it is to go through that. My father was ill with a number of different things, and my mother too, and so to go through that, you get really isolated. And I appreciate you being here to support her too, all these
I'm
years.
supporting everybody.
Yes.
Which is good to have family, because I don't know about Ashley, but I know myself and other RSD patients, we have a hard time with our families because of the medication. They just don't want to believe it. They're in denial. That's very, very hurtful.
In denial about what? That it's
They don't
that
want
it's
to
bad?
believe that you have this disease.
Oh, I see.
And they don't believe it at all sometimes.
Because we can look like we look normal. Okay, I wear a glove because my hand gets cold, but we look normal. So people go, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with you."
Yeah.
A lot of family. I mean, I don't speak to my mom anymore. I haven't talked to her in years. My in-laws and I have a big problem with it.
They think it's like a fake
They think
feeling or
it
something?
doesn't exist.
Oh, I see.
And
Like
so
you're
they just
crazy.
want to ignore it and tell me, yeah, exactly. Tell
And
me
you've
I'm
had that
crazy.
too?
Oh, at school, I've lost friends. I've lost a lot of family and teachers. Just don't understand.
Friends.
Even though you can show them bruises and things
Oh,
like that?
yeah,
Yeah,
you can
they could see it.
but they just don't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's difficult. So having a husband who supports you is very
It's
important.
great. I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
great.
A lot of
Okay.
people end up divorced.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, give your contact information. We've got about 30 seconds left, so give it again here.
661-399-0502. And the website's www.tkorsds.org.
Okay, and yours real quick.
And mine is at area code 805-927-1550. And I'm at www.preciouspetalpushers.com. And you can also find me on MySpace under the same name. So
Okay, good. Well, thanks for coming on and talking about it.
thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah, this has been Ron Leslie Beers for Patrick Germany, letting us co-host his program here. So I want to thank you for joining us on Channel 2 here.
Yeah, it's been nice. And join us again soon.
Yes.